Violent crime rates plummeted in the United States in 2025. This is new data from the FBI's annual crime report. The report, which compiles crime data from roughly 87% of the U.S. police departments, shows an overall 18% decrease in the murder rate as compared to the previous year. The annual murder rate tied, believe it or not, with 1955 and 1956 for the lowest on record since we began compiling this data starting in 1930. For more on this, Adam Gelb joins me now. He is president and CEO of the Council on Criminal Justice, an independent and nonpartisan think tank in this space. Adam, I'm grateful to have you with us here. So these are good news. These are good trend lines. They have been going on for the better part of 3 years, as I understand it. And we often in America grasp or reach for one single explanation, but I'm guessing there isn't one.
That's a good guess, Major. It's very good to be with you. Thanks for focusing on this. Before we jump into the whys, I think we've got to pause for a minute and just take additional note of how astonishing this is. You just ran through some of the numbers, and now you've got them on the screen. We don't usually see things move like this in the criminal justice world. If you get a 7 or an 8% drop in a crime type in a given year, that's impressive. And we're seeing double-digit reductions across the map. We had this largest decline ever in a single year last year in homicide. And we actually track back to 1900 using both law enforcement and health data. And you heard the president say this in his remarks the other day, that we have now the lowest homicide rate we've seen since 1900. And the data that you're showing in there, we're talking about, goes through last year. At the Council on Criminal Justice, we've been taking snapshots every half year, and the one we just published shows that we're continuing to see additional double-digit declines through the first half of 2026. So it's really astonishing.
Okay, that is something to take on board and say this is such good news because it speaks to a safer public citizenry, less harm being done, less stress on the prison system, less stress on the prosecutors, all of it good trend lines. What are some of the reasons we can say with some confidence are contributing to this rather?
Right. Major, the more confidence somebody gives you with their answer, the more skeptical I am of it. What we're seeing right now is everything, everywhere, all at once, just like the title of the movie. We have drops that are occurring across the map. In cities, large, medium, and small, in cities that have very different political leadership and governance philosophies, different public safety strategies, different housing and economic conditions, and certainly very different levels of federal enforcement activity. So when you have all this happening everywhere all at once like this, it's darn near impossible to disentangle. Now, that said, for those of us who pay attention to this and follow it closely, I want to offer you three big buckets of things that are happening. One is big swings in criminal justice strategies. That includes these federal enforcement actions. It includes some of the gun enforcement actions by the Biden administration when this homicide drop started back in 2022. It includes significant expansion of community violence intervention programs where people who have been involved in gang violence convince others to take a different path with their lives. We're also seeing in the second bucket big swings in crime fighting and life-saving technologies, everything from this vast surveillance network that's been created by both government surveillance cameras as well as everybody's phones and their Ring cameras. I mean, you can't practically go anywhere in public right now without being caught on camera. If you talk to the public health folks, you'll hear that there have been significant advances in emergency medical care, and we have tracked in our own data some large drops in lethality, right? So we're seeing a drop in assaults, but a much bigger drop in homicides, which means the lethality of the violence is dropping. And then last, and certainly not least, is a big bucket of things, big shifts that are happening in society and culture. And I'll just name a few here. People are drinking way less alcohol in a move generally to healthier lifestyles. And when people drink less, they're less likely to get in fights. And another one that I just find fascinating, Major, is that that kids are spending, as we well know, a lot more time home alone scrolling their phones. And that has been terrible, as we know, for isolation and depression, other really terrible outcomes for adolescent mental health, including a large suicide problem we're seeing. At the same time, it means that they're not out on the streets getting in trouble and carousing with their friends. And so what may have been really bad for teen mental health may turn out to be positive with respect to crime.
Adam, to what degree does intense immigration enforcement play a role in this?
Yeah. It plays a role. There's just no denying it. It's a different conversation to say whether or not this big dragnet that has been placed over many cities is the right thing to do and is consistent with American traditions and values. It's a different question to say, but okay, out of the hundreds of thousands of people who have been removed from the communities, how many of them were actively involved in crime and had criminal histories or active criminal warrants for violent offending? And your colleagues at CBS News have done some of the definitive reporting on this and found that about 14% of those would meet that criteria. It's like a lot of people think that that's way too low, that that's pretty much everybody they should be targeting. But still, at 14%, that is tens and tens of thousands of people who are involved in crime who have been taken off the streets.
Adam Gelb, President and CEO of the Council on Criminal Justice. It's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.